You're listening to Weekly AI News with Shaylee. I'm Shailendra Kumar, and if you feel like the world changed while you were grabbing your morning coffee, you're not alone. We've officially hit that point in 2026 where things we once called theoretical are now sitting on our desks. This week, we aren't just looking at faster chatbots, we're looking at a total restructuring of the global economy. Stick around, because if you thought the AI race was fast before, we've just hit the warp drive. Let's start with the headline that's making every CFO on the planet check their math. SpaceX has officially completed its $250 billion acquisition of xAI. This isn't just a big deal, it's a $1 trillion pivot. By merging the two, we now have a vertically integrated powerhouse valued at $1.25 trillion. Think about that. The same company that launches rockets is now the world's most well funded AI laboratory. In just the first quarter of this year, AI startups swallowed 81% of all global venture capital. I've spent a lot of time talking about how to make money out of data, but this is a different level. This is the everything stack. When you control the satellites, the compute, and the model, you aren't just playing the game, you're owning the stadium. If you're a leader in a mid sized firm, here's my tip: don't try to build your own foundational model. The scale required has officially moved into the geopolitical power category. Focus instead on how you can layer your proprietary data on top of these behemoths. Speaking of these models, have you noticed they're starting to sound, well, scary smart? This week, we saw a trio of heavy hitters arrive: Claude Mythos 5, GPT 5.4, and Gemini 3.1 Pro. The UK's AI Safety Institute confirmed that Claude Mythos 5 successfully completed a 32-step corporate network cyber range test end to end. That's a task that usually takes a human expert 20 hours of intense labor. The AI did it without breaking a sweat. We've officially crossed the threshold into human expert parity across 44 professional occupations. This leads me to a question I want you to really sit with. If an AI can perform at a senior expert level in your field today, what is the unique value you'll provide to your organization tomorrow? It's a sobering thought, but also an invitation to move up the value chain into strategy and empathy, areas where these models still feel a bit hollow, and that expertise is moving straight into the office. We're seeing a massive shift toward agentic AI. It's a fancy way of saying AI that actually does things rather than just talking about them. About 79% of organizations have already started deploying these agents. They aren't just answering emails, they're managing budgets and executing multi-step business workflows. I've noticed that the most successful companies aren't just using AI, they're giving it a job description. My bonus tip for you this week: treat your AI like a high performing intern. Give it clear goals, check its work, but let it do the heavy lifting of the process. If you aren't experimenting with agentic workflows by the end of this month, you're effectively working with one hand tied behind your back. Now, all this progress has a literal price tag: electricity. AI now accounts for over 10% of US power consumption. It's the invisible ceiling for the industry. But this week, researchers at Tufts University might have just saved us from a blackout. They've developed a neuro-symbolic AI system that reduces energy use by a staggering 100 times. This is actually the most important story of the week. Why? Because it decouples intelligence from the power grid. It means we can have expert AI on our phones without draining the battery in 10 minutes. It's the difference between AI being a luxury for the elite and a tool that's truly everywhere. Of course, with all this power comes the inevitable legal headache. We're currently seeing a fascinating lawfare battle. The federal government is pushing for a light touch approach to keep innovation moving, while states like Utah and Washington are passing dozens of bills to regulate deepfakes and child protection. It's a patchwork quilt of rules that makes compliance a nightmare. You might think that's just for the lawyers to worry about, but it's a signal of a deeper tension. We are centralizing capital and power in a few companies while trying to decentralize control through 1,000 different laws. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's exactly why you need to stay informed. The big takeaway this week: sustainability is the new frontier. Whether it's the energy your models use or the legal frameworks they live in, the Wild West era of AI is ending, and the era of sustainable scale is beginning. If you enjoyed this deep dive, let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and Medium. Just search for Shailendra Kumar. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which of these developments surprised you the most? Drop a comment or send me a message. And before I go, here's a little teaser for you. Next week, we're looking at how AI is stepping out of the data center and into the wild. We'll be discussing the massive breakthroughs in AI for climate science and how we might finally be able to predict the weather with 99% accuracy. You won't want to miss that. Until then, keep learning, keep building, and remember, data is the new oil, but AI is the engine. See you next week.